What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr, and today I am bringing you a test hand combo video for the Dark World profile I showed you all the other day. So this is going to be helpful for new players, returning players, and of course veteran players to see how the deck can be piloted with this current format, with additional commentary on top to talk you through alternative options and hand traps you might want to consider and to play around. So, with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe to miss out on any more upcoming content. After a very decent shuffle and a good old cut, our starting hand going first will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is actually, if you could cherry pick it any more, the best hand that Dark Worlds could possibly have. And I'm going to show you how we can work with this. So, we're going to start off by normal summoning down the Quacky Guardian. This straight away is going to say to your opponent, no bueno if you have Drow and Lockbird. We're then going to activate Genta. This in turn will allow us to grab Gate of the Dark Worlds, and then we have the ability to resource loop our hand from the graveyard as well with Rainbow. So start by activating the Gate of the Dark World, use the Gate of the Dark World to banish the Genta as cost, and then discard one of the two cards. Now, I'm going to be discarding the Rainbow, which would search you out your Silver, which is the one piece you're needing, to then be able to return the Genta to get the second Gates, and that's when you're going to get the second Snow. So this would be the best way to start with. If you go with Snow, you don't have a way to get the Genta from the field back to the hand. So you're going to want to make sure you send the Rainbow to be able to re-loop that resource and get you as much advantage as possible. So we'll shuffle up just to make sure that it's fresh and clear for the randomized draw, which will be a second Quacky Guardian, which is absolutely fine because it means we can actually leave Quacky Guardian on the field. Then go Chain Link 1 Genta, Chain Link 2 Rainbow to make sure, Chain Link 1 Rainbow, Chain Link 2 Genta to make sure your Rainbow is chain blocked, so it can't be ashed. The Genta will come back to the field, your Rainbow will then search you a level 5 or higher, and in this scenario, if we're trying to push for the hand rip, you go for Silver. If you're trying to push for the Grepher Fusion monster, you'd actually go for Grepher, which will allow you to gain a bit more resource. Then you're going to be able to return the Genta to the hand for the Rainbow, and then use Genta's effect again in order to get you access to a second Gate of the Dark World. Wherever it may be. There we go. So this gives you access to the second Gate of the Dark World. You're now going to activate the second gate, use the effect again. This time you're going to be able to banish your Genta. There we go. Genta will remain banished this time as you're only able to special summon it once per turn, annoyingly. But we're going to shuffle up and we're going to be discarding Snow off of this one to give us a randomized draw, which is a danger, which is ideally what you want in this scenario, because what this is going to give you the ability for is Snow is going to give you the ability to then search out any Dark World card. Now, unfortunately, if this card was a Dark World card, you'd be going for this 100% of the time. Unfortunately, as it is not a Dark World card, you want to be looking for cards that is going to get you the most advantage. You can go for Puppetry, but you don't really have anything to start triggering. You can go for Archives, but again, you've not really got a lot to go for you, so you're going to want to go for the Ceruli. If you have Grepher, of course, you can work your way into the Accession. The Accession would give you a little bit more advantage. So this would be one of them ones where if the first draw didn't get you, like the first draw didn't get us anything, it got us Quacky Guardian. But if the second draw, which is a little bit risky, so if the first draw doesn't give you anything and you want to play it safe, rather than searching out a Silver, you would search out the Grepher. And then on the second time of searching, when you do the second gate, even if the last card is a danger or anything else, you'd probably then go for a Accession, and that would give you the ability to at least get the Grepher Fusion on the field. Because we've got the danger, we can actually be a little bit more free. So we're going to set the Triple Tactics Thrust. There are ways to control the discard of the danger, and what I mean by that is no matter the outcome of this one, if we really do want to be able to get the ability of Ceruli to loop our opponent for 2 cards at the base minimum and then set up Thrust into Talents, then you just go into a Muckraker. We want to try and keep the Quacky Guardian on the field, so that's where the danger is going to come into play. So we're going to reveal the danger. Obviously, the worst one to hit on this one would be Bigfoot, annoying. So we're going to go 1 to 4, 5, 6 will be a reroll. We hit the 1, which is the Quacky Guardian, which is absolutely fine, which will summon down the Bigfoot and draw us a card, which gets us a Mothman. So again, on this scenario, if you want to try and talk about hypotheticals, if we didn't draw a danger here or a way to extend any further, you could just put both of these into the Muckraker. Muckraker's effect, discard the Ceruli, bring back the Snow, Silver discarded off the Ceruli, rip 2 from your opponent's hand, Thrust into Talents, look at your opponent's hand, take away another 1 from them. So you're burning away their resource. We're still going to be able to do the exact same thing. Ideally, what we're trying to do here is either hit Mothman or hit Ceruli, so we've increased our chances of that one resolving. So reveal Mothman, we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, so hits the Ceruli, which is perfection. Summon down Mothman, draw a card off of the Mothman, resolving, gets us into Rainbow. Cerulli's effect now goes to our opponent's side. Now make sure, if you summon down the Mothman or the Bigfoot, probably better off summoning the Mothman, make sure you put Cerulli to a zone that it points to, because when you put a Kashyyyk here, you get to recycle both of these and you'll be in a very good position. So Cerulli's effect is going to resolve, making us discard the silver. That will then resolve to rip 2 from our opponent's hand and summon it back to the field. Now in this position, in an ideal scenario, what you'd want to do is you'd want to be using 2 different fiends to get you what you need to go, but we're going to activate the thrust first, and because our opponent controls a monster, we can actually go for talents, wherever we may go. So we'll go for talent, we'll activate talent, we'll look at our opponent's hand, take away another card so we know exactly what they've got. Because keep in mind, the first cards that they are putting back with silver, they're going to choose the worst 2 cards. So when you get to look at talents, you look at their entire hand, get full knowledge, put the card that is going to be the most impactful for them back to the deck, and we are going to be able to resolve silver again as we move our plays further forward. So we're now in a position where, with the Kokimiru Guardian, we know whether we need to keep it or not. Like, if we've already seen our opponent's hand, we know we don't really need to worry about keeping anything too specific. So we're not too fussed about where this is going. Now, we can only make a Kashyyyk with 2 monsters of the same type, and at the moment, the only 2 of the same type will be your silver and your rainbow. In doing that, you no longer have the silver on the field in order to add back to the hand with a rainbow. So you do need to keep that in mind when you're doing this. One way that we can get a second fiend onto the field and still get the rainbow, the silver back to the hand, is you can overlay both into the Bigfoot, into the Buzz King. You could destroy your own Cerulli. In doing that, you need to go to the Muckraker route. So there's loads of different routes you could go around, and what I mean by that is you would overlay these into Buzz King, look at your opponent's extra deck, destroy the Cerulli. Cerulli would go to the graveyard, which is absolutely fine. Then you'd put these 2 or these 2 into a Muckraker. You could use Muckraker's effect to then add back. So you'd be able to detach a material, rainbow would add the silver back, then put the Buzz King plus the Mothman into a Muckraker. Muckraker's effect, discard a card, which can be rainbow, can be silver, could be anything. That would then allow you to bring back the Cerulli, and you just need a way to discard the Cerulli. So there's a couple of different options you can work around. So there's no, like, it's not the end of the world if you don't have a second fiend and you want to keep the silver on the field, is what I'm trying to say here. So your benefit of something like this is if you've already seen your opponent's hand and you know they don't have a Nibiru or anything too threatening, I would actually overlay both your Mothman and your Kokimiru Guardian to go into the Geras. And this is just leaving this space free so that you can make the Akashic Magician with 2 fiends. So you're going to detach both these, you're going to draw 2 cards and then discard 1. So we'll discard the Rainbow. Rainbow's effect will trigger to allow us to grab a level 5 or higher, so you can go for gold if you want to be disruptive. But honestly, just to kind of solidify what you're trying to get on this one, we're going to go for Original Grepher. And now we can start regaining a bit more resource because we can return the silver to the hand for the rainbow. Puppetry is obviously a nice little benefit. We need to get the snow back to the hand, which is absolutely fine because we can do that very easily. If we then use this rainbow plus, I mean, we could have had a rainbow here, and Bigfoot would probably be here, but it doesn't make much of a difference. Put these 2 together, as they're both fiends, go into a Kashyyyk. The Kashyyyk would return the Cerulli to the hand because obviously you want to make sure we can loop our opponent for 2. Then what you want to do here is you can actually go into the Muckraker. Now keep in mind, we've already looped our opponent for 3. They only have 2 cards left in their hand. So now we're going to go Bigfoot plus the Akashic, go into the Muckraker. This will guarantee that we can discard the Cerulli. Use Muckraker's effect, discard the Cerulli to then revive 1 from the grave, and we're going to want to revive the snow. Cerulli's effect will trigger, go to our opponent's side of the field. This will then make us discard a card, so we discard the silver. Silver would then make our opponent lose the last 2 cards of their hand. Usually at this point, your opponent, if the hand rip gets started and they can't stop it, usually they're going to scoop, but we'll go off the assumption that they're not going to scoop. Silver comes back to the field, which is absolutely fine. We can return the silver back to the hand for the rainbow. Do we want to bring back the snow? Can I discard another card? I mean, technically I could, so rather than bringing back the silver, we'll bring back the snow for the rainbow. And this is where it just gets absolutely insane, because a lot of people will be like, well, hang on a minute, you summoned twice from the extra deck. This is just Typhon target, which is very true. It is, but I have a way to deal with that, and I'll show you how we do that. So what we're going to do here, because we've got the archives, we'll activate the archives, use the effect, discarding the snow to increase all of our Dark World monsters' attacks. Resolve the snow effect. You can actually resolve the Grepher effect as well, or the second effect of the archives. You'd go Chain Link 2 would be the archives, Chain Link 1 would be the snow, because snow is mandatory. So we'll shuffle up, discard the Grepher and draw 2 new cards. Absolutely fine. And then resolve the snow, and the one you're going to want to get hold of for the snow will be your Recession. So keeping in mind, our opponent has no cards left in their hand. They only have the one card they're going to draw for turn, and I'm going to show you how you can pretty much mitigate that straight away as well. So return silver to the hand for the Greffer. This is just going to get you your most advantage out of the Greffer. Overlay Greffer and Rainbow into the Buzz King. Buzz King's effect, specifically detaching, so look at your opponent's extra deck, but specifically detaching the Greffer to destroy the Ceruli so that your opponent can't just slap a Typhon on top of this. And you could have taken a Typhon away with the Buzz King as well. The benefit of something like that is we now have the ability to activate the Accession. Accession can banish 2 from the graveyard. You could discard a card if you want to, but as long as you banish the Greffer and then banish any other fiend, so let's banish the Geras. The reason I haven't discarded the silver is because I might want to save the silver to add the Accession back, not that you need to, because this is pretty much game here. You've got your Greffer, you've got your Buzz King, so not only have you got extra deck knowledge for the next game, you've also burnt your opponent for a tiny bit of damage. You've got your Greffer, so no matter what the top deck is, if your top deck is a monster effect, a normal spell, or a normal trap, your Greffer deals with it straight away. And then if you want to push that little bit further, because you want to get extra greedy, use... actually, Muckraker can't be used as link material, so you'd leave this as it is. If you want to get extra greedy, of course you can discard the silver off of the back of the Accession to add this back. And then you've got all of this in play. So if you wanted to, you could put all of these to the graveyard, and that would then allow you to work your way into an Abower, and then the Abower could discard a card to bring back the Greffer. And the benefit of that is it means that when you go into your opponent's turn, which I'll quickly show you to do anyway, so you link all 4 of these together. Not that you need to, this is massive overkill. Link all 4 together into the Abower queue. Then what you've got here, let me just double check that this Greffer can be, when your opponent activates a monster, you can only use each effect once per turn. If this card is Fusion Summon, leaves the field because of an opponent's card, I believe, I'm 99% sure I can bring it back. I'm just double checking that I can actually bring it back. But discard the Fluoros, bring this back, banish the Abower queue. Abower queue is going to be coming back anyway. Set Puppetry. Annoyingly, Puppetry is discard a fiend specifically. And because we've got all of these, we don't actually have a fiend in the hand. So Puppetry is no longer useful to us, but our opponent's got nothing in the graveyard anyway. End of turn, Abower queue comes back. And what we basically have is your opponent draws 1 card for turn. No matter what that 1 card is, there is no way they break this field. They could go normal summon a monster and then threaten to go into a Typhon. Let's say they play 2 Typhons, for example. They go normal summon a monster, and then the next move would go into a Typhon. You go, okay, cool, Abower queue. Or they make Typhon, you still go Abower queue, discard, pop it. You've then still got your Greffer if it's a normal spell, normal monster, anything like that. Like, you have coverage of absolutely everything. And that was the complete hand rip, so degenerate. As I mentioned before, usually, especially if I'm in this scenario, I know that they have the ability to hand rip, so the only way is if they mess up. If they mess up the combo to hand rip, then you might be in a semi-okay position, so you probably let the first silver resolve, but then if they get to the second silver, or heck, even if they get to talents, you probably scoop it up. You just save time, you go into game 2, and then you kind of counteract from there. Because if you're not main in draw, or even if you are main in draw and just didn't see it, that's when you're going to need to focus on it. So you go and try and win game 2. They'll probably side in a lot of field breakers, or if you're a Dark World player, you're siding in a lot of field breakers. And then in game 3, they're probably going to go first to try and complete the hand rip. But then that's where cards like Eradicator will come into play off the back of Thrust, so you do need to be a little bit careful. But then that's also where you can play the Perulias, the Fluoroses, the Drolls and Lockbirds and everything else in between. So after another shuffle and a decent cut, we'll do another test stand going first. This time will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we get the Quackimira Guardian. It's still a very good, decent start because you go normal summon Quackimira Guardian. We now no longer need to worry about Droll. You can activate Gate of the Dark World or set Gate of the Dark World just to get it out of the hand so that when you activate the Nessie, you're trying to hit the gold. You don't mind if you hit the Fluoros. You don't really mind if you hit Nessie, but it'd be more beneficial for you not to. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4. So it hits the Fluoros, which is fine. Nessie summons, draws you a card. And people want to play 3 of this card. Now we're in a bit of an annoying position. And what I mean by that is, I can't really, there's no fiend in the graveyard for us to use gates. If this was a fiend monster, happy days. I could activate gates. Or if we hit the gold, happy days. So, now I've got to try and figure out the best route to play this one. Annoyingly, they're not 2 level 4s. I think the best thing that I can do is go into a Muckraker. And even then, that doesn't get me what I need. Because I would use Muckraker. I don't even have a fiend in the graveyard to revive. This is not ideal at all. Trying to think where I can go here. I can only get 3 monsters on the field, to be honest. I don't think this helps. Opening up that gate really sucked, or drawing that gate really sucked. Yeah, that just didn't help. I can't think of anything. Maybe if you see a way that that could have been played better with that exact draw, then let me know. But I don't think there was a way for me to get... because I needed 2 Fiends in rotation. Anyway, it's worth showing you some of these dead hands anyways. You can know that they do happen. There's a reason that Dark World are not tier 0. But it also kind of shows that the videos that I'm showing you are honest. They're not me kind of fabricating the outcomes. And that's kind of what I want to highlight with the deck as well, is that it does have its good and bads, because if it always had its goods, it would be one of the top contenders. So we'll shuffle up. We'll redo it going first hand, as that one was very, very disappointing. So shuffle up, cut up, and draw going first with 1, 2, 3. Just a discard outlet. There's our discard outlet. Oh, again, pretty much cherry picked. So standby main, normal Sworn Cocky Mirror Guardian, activate Genta, search ourselves out the gates, activate gates, gate effect, banish Genta as cost, discard Snow on this one, get the randomized draw, Frost, okay, Snow's effect and Genta, so Genta summons itself back. Where do we want to go with Snow? I could go for Silver, which is a very early doors Ceruli, which probably isn't worth it, to be fair. I think because I've got Salamander Catalyzer, I'm actually going to go for Rainbow. And the reason for that is I can get more resource off of the back of that because of the Salamander. So use Salamander, revealing itself in 1 theme monster. You special summon the Salamander, can set up rank 4 plays if I want it to, but we'll discard the Rainbow. Rainbow's effect now allows us to trigger, which will get us the Silver, which is what we want, as we are going first. We can then return the Genta back to the hand for the Rainbow. Then we can activate Genta again to grab us the second gates. We can activate the second gates. We're just going to shuffle up. And now our full Ceruli combo is in play, because what we do is we use Gate to banish the Genta. You can leave this one in the grave if you want to and banish the Snow instead, but I quite like Snow being in the grave if I want to regain it as resource later on. We will then discard the Ceruli. We will draw a random card, which is gold. Ceruli will then go to our opponent's field, make us discard a card, which will be silver. Silver then comes back to the field. This would then... I don't want silver there. Let's put silver there. This will then make our opponent put 2 cards from their hand back to the deck, which leaves them with 3 cards. At that point, you could arguably think that they put back Droll, because if they put back Droll, you're like, cool. Let's be guaranteed on that one. So we'll activate the Frost. Grab us the talents because they got Ceruli. Activate the talents, look at our opponent's hand, put 1 card back. They now only have 2 cards left in their hand. Okay. So we now know, like at this point we're semi-safe, I would say. I would like to think with the last 2 cards, unless those last 2 cards are Droll, and even if they are Droll, we can still play around it. I would feel comfortable overlaying the Quacky Mirror Guardian and the Catalyzer. Like once you resolve talents, you should be in a position where you're quite comfortable looking like being able to sacrifice the Quacky Mirror Guardian. So Daguerres, detach, draw 2, discard 2. You don't want to discard the Greffa as it is mandatory. Sorry, discard 1. It is mandatory. So if you were to do that, you would destroy your own Ceruli, which is not what you want to do. So you want to discard the gold. Gold would hit the graveyard, and then gold's effect would come back. You can now use your Rainbow and Daguerres to get you into a Kasich. A Kasich would then resolve, returning the Ceruli. You can then return the silver for your Rainbow. Remember, they've only got 2 cards left in their hand, so you don't really mind where this is going. So you're going to use Rainbow and a Kasich to go into the Muckraker. You'd then return the gold back to the hand for your Rainbow. You can then use Muckraker's effect, discarding the Ceruli, reviving the Snow. Ceruli's effect goes back to your opponent's field. This in turn makes us discard a card being the silver. Silver's effect comes back, makes our opponent put their last 2 cards back to the deck. So now all they have is their top deck and a Ceruli. But don't worry, we're going to get rid of said Ceruli in a short second. Now what we can do is, we need to get into a Fiend here. Kind of need to get into the Abawa queue, but we do have other ways to do it. Now, do I want this? I don't really need silver back in the hand. Kind of want Snow back in the hand, but then I also need to get a discard outlet going. Or do I just want another... I do need to be able to get a discard. Can I get another monster to the field is the question. Cerulean is still on their side of the field. I want to get rid of that. I mean, leaving it to Typhon is not great unless I can get a... Unless I can get... I think maybe this is where Cerberus comes into play. This is where Cerberus can be absolutely cracked. Because at the moment, I'm only playing Nightmare Phoenix. So with a bit of hindsight, if this was Cerberus, I would discard the Grepher. I would then use Cerberus to destroy this, and my Cerberus would be co-linked. So now I'd get to draw a new card as well. I think that would be ideal. I don't think I can get enough on the field to do what I want to do. Like, I can get Silver back to the hand. Yeah, I think I can only get Silver back to the hand. Because I can't make Skull Dread right now, which is really annoying, because I am Fiend Locked. Maybe there was a play I could have done before Fiend Locking myself, maybe. Maybe I got ahead of myself. But either way, like, all they've got is Top Deck and Typhon. So I either need to try and look at my opponent's extra deck to get rid of the Typhon, or I need to destroy the Cerulean. And the only way I can destroy the Cerulean is if I discard the Grepher via card effect, which at the moment I can't do. The only Fiend targets I have is a Bower Cube, but I can't use Muckraker as link material the turn it is summoned, which is semi-annoying. Or I've got a rank 4. I thought I had another level 8 in the grey, which I don't. If I put 2 into Unicorn, all I get is another level 8 back to the field. Okay, maybe this isn't as great as the last one, but they are top decking. And like I said, when I get to this point like there, they're probably going to be scooping it. But I kind of need a negate for that top deck, because if their top deck's really good, it causes a lot of issues, but I don't think I can get there. Yeah, I think the best thing I can do is either leave this field the way it is, which isn't that impressive, or I add a Phoenix to it. Which would mean that these both can't get destroyed by battle, but then they just make Typhon and bounce the Phoenix, and then you go again. That's quite annoying. Maybe I got too greedy with the Daguerres. Maybe I got a little bit too greedy. Even then, you still complete the hand rip. But yeah, this isn't as impressive as it could have been. So I might have misstepped somewhere. Rather than just staring at it, hoping that it's going to fix itself. Let's move on to go second. But you can kind of see, like, we've consistently hand-ripped twice. And the deck should be able to do that. Like, at the moment, I think if you count the second test down we did, we've hand-ripped for 66% of the time. Now, when we make it... Now, when we do this next test down, we would have hand-ripped 50% of the time. And then hopefully OTK'd. But anyway, shuffle it up. Cut up, and we'll do the final test down. This time we'll be going second, so we're going to be a bit more aggressive. Starting with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's okay. And draw 6. Mothman. Okay. So, draw phase, standby phase, main phase, normal summon Cocky Mirror Guardian. I still like this as a go second option, because then it basically trades 1 for 1. And when I've got a hand like this with talents and everything else, it just gets a little bit better. I would set the talents. I don't really want to lose that. I don't mind losing the Accession, so I'm going to set the gates. And to be honest, no matter what I hit here off the reveal of the Mothman, I'll actually gain advantage from it. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, hits the Accession. Summons down the Mothman. Mothman draws me a card. Nessie, okay. I'm going to reveal the Nessie. I don't really want to use this just yet. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, hit the Snow. Summon the Nessie. Draw a card. Snow's effect will now resolve. Is it too early for Cerulean? It is too early for Cerulean, I think. Let's go Genta. We will discard Genta, getting us a gate, because now we want Genta in the graveyard, which is absolutely fine. There we go. We can use Gates effect, the first one that we had, to banish the Genta, to then discard the Rainbow, which is now going to start getting us a resource loop going. So shuffle up, cut up, draw a random card. Mothman again, cool. Chaining 1, Chaining 2, Genta comes back, Rainbow will search as a level 5 or higher. As we are going second, I'd probably go for Greffa, just because it's more aggressive, and we've got the Accession in the graveyard, so that puts us in a very good position. Now we're going to regain some hand advantage, so we are going to return the Genta to the hand for the Rainbow. We can then use the Accession effect to discard the Greffa, to then add the Accession back, which then triggers Greffa's effect to pop one card our opponent controls, so we've picked one card off, which is quite useful for us, and then we can return the Rainbow to the hand for the Greffa. We can now activate the second gate of the Dark World. We can use that to banish the snow in the graveyard and then discard the Rainbow to allow us to draw a random card. And then we get to utilize Rainbow's effect again to get us access to, in this scenario, you can go for gold or you can go for a second Greffa. Doesn't make much of a difference either way. Kind of want to get Nessie back to the hand. That would then unlock some more Dark World plays. So, do we activate the Accession now, which it can be done, which would be quite useful for us. We would lose the Greffa though, but it would give us a bit of protection. So let's go with Accession, discard the Genta and banish the Greffa, because I don't really want to risk losing that now that I've got it. So we'll go into the Greffa. And then it means if our opponent activates any normal monster effect right now, or a normal spell or a normal trap, we can then turn it into discarding gold, which would then pop 2 cards, which is really useful for us. So, Mothman and Nessie, our opponent hasn't activated anything just yet, so let's go with Reveal Mothman. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Frost isn't that important to us right now, so we hit the Mothman, which is fine. Mothman, both players draw a card and discard a card. Yeah, we're going to have to discard the Genta. That's not ideal. That's not what we want to see. I can, if I want to, now upgrade the Quackimiru Guardian and the Mothman, just to get into the Daguerres, to use the effect, to draw 2, ditch 1, for Genta, of course. Oh, and the Quackimiru Guardian. Do I discard the gold? I probably should discard the gold. The reason for that is gold would then return to the field, and then I get to return the gold to the hand for a Rainbow. Use Rainbow plus the Daguerres to go into a Kasich. Kasich would then return Nessie to the hand and then whatever else it points to. So you'd make sure you're kind of putting the Nessie wherever your opponent has a monster to get the most out of it. And now what we want to do is... this is all the assumption of our opponent not activating anything. If they activate anything, we Frost or we Talent. So we got, Talents or we Frost. So we've got both options there. Trying to think, like the Frost would still get us somewhere good. So I'm thinking of whether it's worth setting it or not. But you'd only be able to dictate that depending on what your opponent's doing. So reveal the Nessie, go 1 to 4, 5, 6 will be a reroll. 3, hit the gold, absolutely fine. Nessie summons, draws us a card again. Broken. Gold returns to the field, activate Corridor. Corridor will add us a Dark World and discard a card. So let's add... Oh, I need gold back to the hand, which I can do. Actually, so we don't need to activate Dark Corridor yet. So we'll add the gold back to the hand. This is how we're going to get by bringing back the Rainbow. Then we're going to activate Dark Corridor. We're going to add, doesn't matter, we'll add the snow. This is only going to deck fin, doesn't make any difference here. We'll activate the snow. You can just go straight for the... Wait, what am I talking about? Don't add the snow, you div. Add the Ceruli. Because then you discard the Ceruli. What a fool. And then we discard the Ceruli. This gets discarded. Ceruli then summons to our opponent's field. Ceruli then makes us discard a card, being the gold. Gold's effect then comes back and destroys 2 cards our opponent controls, so that clears off another 2 cards. I haven't got anything else in the grave to return back, which is absolutely fine. But our opponent has now activated a monster effect, so we can go Talents to either steal or look at our opponent's hand. We can also go Frost. The benefit of Frost would get you a fresh hand if you want it, because you'd go for your card destruction. And considering that Genta and the Guardian are no use to us whatsoever, that might not be the worst thing to have. Talents will look at our opponent's hand. Is it worth looking at our opponent's hand? You know what, we'll just do Talents to steal. So we do Frost first because they control a monster, then do Talents to steal because obviously I can't guarantee if they've got a monster left or not, but I'm going to steal the Ceruli just to get it out of the way now. And then the benefit is you can just pretty much link as high as you want. So we'll go Akashic, Ceruli and Rainbow. Get those all into the About queue. We can then return the gold to the hand for the Rainbow, which is absolutely fine. I can then link these both together and go into the Muckraker. Do I care about Fiend locking myself right now? We'll save it for now, but we'll go Card Destruction for 3. 3 brand new cards, 1, 2, and 3. Not much use for us, but gold will still summon itself back to the field. We'll then be able to return gold to the hand for Rainbow. This is now all going to be overkill, by the way, because from this point on, like, it doesn't matter what we do. Use Muckraker's effect, discard a card to revive a Fiend. So let's revive... Oh, we don't have many Fiends to bring back. That's a shame. Bring back Ceruli, I guess, because gold's going to bring itself back to the field. Again, this is just overkill. Like, I don't need to be doing any of this. This is all just extras. Probably need to put Ceruli there, put gold there for the benefit that if I do this, go into Phoenix. Phoenix discards a card. Let's get rid of Thrust. Just because it's co-linked, I'll draw a card. If they've got any spells or traps left, it doesn't make much of a difference. Return gold back to the hand for Rainbow. I can then use a Bower Q's effect if I want to. Is there any Dark Monster stronger worth bringing back? Probably not. Yeah, I mean, it's all overkill now. So Archives, discard gold, increase the attack, bring this back. These are both increased anyway, and then they're all Fiends, so they're all buffed off the back of the Dark Gates as well, so they're all up by 300. There's no point in using Bower Q. I can probably use Bower Q's effect to discard a card to destroy a card, rather than having it leave the field. But that's pretty much it. That's kind of what the deck wants to do. Like, it's just uber aggressive when it goes off, and when it doesn't, it sucks. But it's still a really, really fun deck. Very, very powerful. I fully do enjoy the way the deck runs and the way the deck is. And hopefully this has given you a bit of an insight into the build and the way the deck wants to function and wants to run. And if you do have any questions, by all means, please put in the comments down below. I'm always happy to answer them where at all possible. But for now, as absolutely always, stay safe. And of course, happy dueling.